Hi there, in this video we will talk about the for loop, and the for loop is quite different from the while loop. We will discuss the definition of this for loop, the statements that we can use with the for loop like break statement, continue, and else, which we have used with while loop. So in this video you can differentiate between those statements with while loop and for loop. And finally, I'll talk about the range function. With this in mind, let us jump quickly to the definition of the for loop. The loop, it iterates over any sequence. And the good thing about for loop that we can use it with list, tuple, dictionary, set, or even a string. And the good thing that we make the for loop where we can see everything in one line, which is make it very useful for us in this course. And it doesn't require any indexing beforehand. And we can use range function where we can put the variable and the range and followed by different statements. So let us have a few examples to show you how we use the for loop with list, tuple, dictionary, and set, or even string. And here I put very simple examples. The first one, it's fruits, and it has 5 different fruits in a form of list. And I hope you remember to make a list, you need to use the square brackets. So here, when I run the code, I get all the items in the list of fruits, but you need to remember here that it doesn't sort the items, and it mentioned the items in a list. So this is the first one. The second one, which is a list of vegetables, that we use them in tuple. And I hope you remember to create a tuple, you need to use round the brackets. So when I print, it runs all the items in this tuple, but they are mentioned in a list form and they are not sorted. The third item, it's a set of different juices. And you can see also it has the same structure of list or tuple. And finally, I can use for with list with one single word, which is a string, strawberry. And here the function splits the word into single characters and it prints them one by one. So this is the way we present the for statements. And now let us jump to the different statements that we can use it with for loops. The first one, it's a break statement that stops the for loops even if there is no problem, but it will make a full stop for the loop at a certain point. And here is the example of fruits. And I make the code to stop the loop at cherry. So the moment the code finds a cherry, then it will stop. And when we run the code, we see here that stops at the third word. However, if I move the method of print from here and I put it at the end, it will stop the loop before cherry. And here you can see, so I'm gonna reduce this one to show you how it looks like. So what I did, that I moved print method from here and I put it down here. And now let me run the code and see that it will stop before it cherry. So you need to know that putting the print method before the break or after the break will make a difference. If you put it before break, it will stop the loop at this condition. If you put it after, it will stop it before that condition. The next code is or the continue statement. And in continue statement, we use it as we did with while loop. So here we have a list of different items. And when we run, it will skip cherry and it will print the rest of the items. And here, if you remember by way of review, that we can use different code like using uppercase or lowercase, and this will change the output here. So remember the break statement and the continue statement, which we have discussed them in while loop, and now we also repeat them in the for loop. The next statement is the else, which we have seen it in while loop, but also we can use it with for loop. So here we have a list of different items. We say that if we find the cherry, skip it. Otherwise, once we finished, we run the code of printing the for loop is so easy. And we run the code here. We see that although the list has 4 items, but it skipped cherry, and it prints the for loop is so easy after printing all the items in the for loop. So remember that we can use a break statement, continue, and else. The next one, which is unique to the for loop, it's the range. The range here, it makes the for loop looping through a set of code that's specified by the items and make a sequence, return back a sequence starting by 0 and keeps increasing the sequence by 1. So 0, 1, 2, 3. But also, if we can change the code, it can make it 0, 2, 4, 6 or 0, 3, 6, 9, and so on. And it ends by a specific number. So let us look at those examples. First of all, I say here for variable in range, and this is the function in range 5, print 4 is a great loop. And we run it here, and we see that the print out of 5 different items repeated after each other. But now I would like to put the number of the sequence before each one of them. So I can put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I changed the printing method to put the digits before printing 4 is a great loop. And it looks like this one. So here for variable in range 5, when you print out, put the sequence here. So 1, 2, 3, followed by dots, and then we print out 4 is a great loop. So here we can use the range function with different methods. The next one is when we print out the function, we don't have to start by 0, but we can set up our own beginning, like 0 here, our own ending, and the step that we use it for counting. So what does it mean? Here I ask to start a range that begins by 0, ends by 30, and increase the numbers by 3. And when you run the code, you will get it here. We start by 0, then we jump to 3, 6, 9, 12, and so on. But it doesn't print 30, which is the last one. If we need to print 30, we have to increase it at least by 1. And then run it, and then it will print 30. So from this function, we learn that we can set up the beginning, the ending, and the increment. If we don't put it, then the Python code will use the default, which is starting by 0 and stopping at the certain number that we identify, like 5. So if I don't put the beginning, it assumes it's 0. If I don't mention the increment, it means 1. So with this in mind, remember how to use the range function. Now let us look at another example that has nested for. So for condition inside another for. So here we have 2 lists, the first one with adjectives, the second one fruits. And now I need to print the 2 functions together. So here you can see by running the code, I use the first list, which is red, big, tasty, alongside with the other one, which is apple, cherry, strawberry, and watermelon. And you see the way we print. This one, we call it nested for. So please remember that we can use for condition with range function. Now let us look at a couple examples I created to show you that we can ask the user to enter the beginning, the ending, and the incremental step, and then we add the digits together. And I put all of them in a function. I call it add the digits. And we run the function here. It asks for the first item number. I will put 1. Then it will ask for the last item, I will put 5. And then the incremental, I will put 1. Now you see that the total here is 15 because I asked to start by 1, then 2, 3, 4, because the incremental is 1, and then we end by 5. If we add 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, we get the total 15. So this is the way we get the digits total. The last comprehensive example is I use it for drawing because we can use the for loop for drawing as well. And here I'm trying to draw a diamond based on the number of carats. So it will draw the diamond if we have odd numbers, but it doesn't if we have even numbers. So if I put number 4, you will see here the function is an error message. So let us ask here for 5, and then we run it. You can see here that starts by 1, then goes to 3, then to 5, then to 3, then to 1. And here you can see that first the function will ask for the input. If the number is even, we will get an error message that it doesn't print. If the number is odd, then we start printing the top part of the diamond, then the out spaces number, then the starting value of the rest of the sequence, then the bottom, and then we end by having a diamond shape. So this is in brief what we discussed in this video is how to use the different methods with for loop, how to use the break, continue, and else statements and range function. I hope you find this video useful. And if you have any question, please let me know. Thank you. Bye-bye.